All right, welcome again. So, as mentioned, we are going to have a short discussion on Vesak. We'll talk about the importance, what exactly this means, just the normal structure that we follow, what it is, why is it important, and how does it kind of fold out, and what should we keep in mind. Uh, Anybody has anything to discuss, or you have questions or anything, please feel free to ask me. If I'm able to, I will. If I'm not, I'll try and point you to something. If not, then we'll see. These topics are quite esoteric in nature, quite deep in nature, and anybody who's claiming to have complete understanding of this, well, take it with a pinch of salt. I think I have a teeny tiny understanding because I have been studying and listening to a few people about this. The only book that we will refer to today is called The Existence of God is Self, Evident by Master Choa. Again, those of you who have not heard of this book, uh, have a look, research. It's not associated to any course, unlike some of the other books that you've talked about, and it is not even about lectures, but it is certain spiritual finding that Master Choa recorded in book form. Okay, but we are basically using it just for one page. Uh, the reason why I'm mentioning this specifically is because Master Choa in his books, to my knowledge, hasn't left a lot of information about Vesak festival. So that is something that I have learned from his disciples, the people that I listen to, and I would highly recommend that you go and listen to them because we are going from first-hand information to second-hand to third-hand, and the concept is important. But do have a look. So I constantly listen to over the years. I've listened to Master Ko talk about Vesak festival, Master Hector, and a gentleman by the name of Sriram Rajgopal, who is based in India. Master Ko and Master Hector, I think you guys are all familiar with. If not, text me later. I will point you to a few sources, and you should be able to find some more material about Vesak. Okay, but let's talk about the basics. So just give me a second. I'll pull out my notes. Not sharing anything. That's just for my reference again. So let's take a step back. What exactly is Vesak? Vesak is one of the 12 full moons, and I think we all understand the concept of full moons. From a meditation perspective, the thing to note is that full moon days are periods of enhanced spiritual activity. What does that mean? In very, very simple terms, the amount of energy which is available to us on certain days in a year, these are 12 full moons, is significantly more compared to any other days in any given month. Okay, there are certain reasons behind that, which are related to astrology, which are related to some esoteric teaching. So we won't dive into that. But I want us to have the practical understanding of why is the day important? Because there's a lot more energy to it. Why does that matter to us? In very simple terms, again, when we meditate, we bring down energy into our system. So if we meditate on a full moon, we are accessing a significantly greater amount of energy. Second, energy has different kinds and different types. Not every kind of energy is available on every given day. So there are certain specific energies which are available on certain days, and full moon does has that. So we are able to access that as well. These energies have amplifying or accelerating effect on anything and everything in our system. So the good qualities are enhanced, the poor qualities too. So word of caution on that. If you're trying to work out certain ideas, certain project, it's a good day to do that because again, you're basically amplifying whatever you're trying to do. Yeah, in some of the discussions that we have covered so far, right? It's a very efficient way of doing things. So again, if you're lazy and if you do not want, if your meditation practice is, let's say it's not daily, and by that I don't mean anybody needs to have a daily practice. Regular is what is recommended, and we need to figure out what regular means to each and one, every one of us. But if you have to pick a day, full moon is one of those days. Why? Because you get more for your time. So if you're going to spend 45 minutes doing a practice, you get a lot more out of that. That's number one. Second, you don't have access to these energies. And now it's like, uh, how do I put it? Yeah, let's just keep it simple. So certain frequencies, certain energies are only available on certain full moons. Why is that the case, right? So if you have attended any of the sessions of full moon by Master Chakra, so you will say, this is full moon of Aries, this is full moon of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo. They are all associated with the with one particular sign. Why is that? Because these are essentially constellations, and the energies which are available on one particular full moon. Let's say last month we all did the meditation on full moon of Aries. So the energies coming on that day were from a certain constellation. The energies on Vesak are from the constellation of Taurus. Now we don't need to understand what is the difference between these energies. All we need to do is be aware of the fact that there are different kinds of energies which are available. In the 12 full moons which are there in a year, there are three of very high significance, right? These are the full moon of Aries, which was the previous one. The next one, which is on Friday, which is the full moon of Vesak, or the full moon of Taurus. That's the second one. And the third is going to be the one following this, which is the full moon of Gemini. So another in month's time. And don't worry, we will be here to remind all of us to gather and do that. So amongst all of these, among the 12, the one which is most powerful is the full moon of Vesak. And that is why you will see a lot of people like me, Gauri, and others encouraging you to join these sessions, because we want to maximize the energies of the most powerful day in the year to meditate. So that's one good reason to do that. We can dive a little bit deeper into why is this more powerful and why the name. So Vesak festival, the name comes, Vesak is, it's actually, the explanation is quite simple. If you speak Hindi, if you don't, then it might be a little tricky. But Vesak is simply the name of the month in Indian calendar, or the Hindi calendar. Just like we have May, June, July, we have different months. And the month that we are in right now is called Vesak, and the full moon on that day, and hence the name called Vesak festival. So not too esoteric in nature, is simply coming from a different language that the word has been picked up. The festival is associated a lot with Buddha, and for obvious reasons. Lord Buddha was born on Vesak. He achieved his enlightenment on Vesak, and he passed away on Vesak. He picked the same day to do all the big things in his life. So because of that, this is associated with Buddha. That's one reason. There's a very esoteric reason to that as well, and we will probably come to that. But now, if you read about this, you will always see Vesak as a festival. It is something to celebrate. And what exactly are we trying to celebrate, and how does the celebration work out? So we are celebrating again, without making it too esoteric, we are essentially celebrating the fact that we have access to a lot of energies and we can utilize them on a certain day. Typically, people observe different number of days when we talk about the festival, but the structure is essentially the same. Most popular is a 5-day festival. So 2 days or 48 hours preceding Vesak, which is effectively where we are right now. The actual peak of the full moon on Vesak is going to be, I think, 6:23 p.m. So we are in the 48 hours window. So 2 days preceding it and 2 days after the full moon. And the structure is that you utilize the first 2 days to do purification. And by purification, and we have been talking about purification for many, many weeks now, it essentially means we are getting our system ready to handle the maximum amount of energy that we can. And when we have certain negative feelings, negative emotions in our system, these act as resistance to energies flowing through us. And that is why we did physical exercises, because we wanted to make sure our energy channels are clean. We have been talking about character building, inner reflection, and other things as tools to make sure that we are purifying ourselves on, which is called inner purification. So we are doing purification on emotional and mental level as well. So the first 2 days are dedicated to purification. The day of full moon is about gathering energies. As I've said many times, a tremendous amount of energies and certain unique energies are available to us on this day. So the day of Vesak is essentially about gathering. Then the 2 days following that is about releasing these energies. How do you release this? Basically, the concept here is not to hoard energy. This is not just for us. We are acting as channels. So whatever we are gathering, It's a good idea to distribute with our friends, families, with our city, with our country, with all the people in the world. And we know techniques how to do that. When we do meditation on Twin Heart and we bless the earth, we are releasing energies throughout the planet, right? So simple things like this can work. Now, that does not mean everybody has to follow a 5 day schedule. Till about, I've been aware of Vesak for maybe a decade and a half. Until about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, till Master Hector started his 5 day program, I wasn't aware of that at all. So but the formula or the syntax of the program remains the same. You dedicate some time before meditation to purification. When you're meditating, your focus is on gathering energies. After that, you focus on releasing energies. A lot of us may not have time or may not even have the inclination to actually engage ourselves into a 5 day activity, and that is absolutely okay. What is requested, what is suggested is there's a specific time to meditate. I will get into the details of, well, I will get briefly into that, but we'll see. Let's take that with a pinch of salt because I do not want this discussion to be too esoteric. But I hope the structure is clear to everybody. You spend some time on purification, you meditate with the purpose of gathering energies, and then you distribute those energies. Okay, so that's the essential part of it. Okay, any questions, comments, observations so far? No? Okay. So let's see. Now let's dive just a little deeper into that. So let us go through the concept of transformers. So this is where I'm going to refer to the book. The book again is The Existence of God is Self-Evident. If anybody has a copy of this book, check it out. I am on page 46. Principle of energy transformer. The world consists of a series of spiritual energy transformers. The planet Earth is an energy transformer. The sun is an energy transformer. The constellation and the galaxies are energy transformers. Our universe itself is a spiritual energy transformer from our maxi universe. Along the same lines, the great spiritual beings, great spiritual teachers, and their disciples are also spiritual energy transformers. Spiritual energy transformers are capable of stepping down or stepping up the energy. The energy transformers also qualify, modify, or transform the energy passing through them. Okay. That's all I'm going to read from this book, but this is the most important concept about Vesak and why we should join the meditation, at a certain time. Because what is happening on this day is that certain great beings, now take all of this with, take this as a theory, because I can't validate it. And I doubt anybody in this group or anybody that we know can actually validate it. So at this point, it is good to simply take this as a theory. Think about that. If you do not disagree with it, I would suggest practice and see what happens. If you disagree with it, then don't worry about it at all, because as part of Master Chora's teachings, we do not need to believe anything blindly. We do not need to disbelieve anything blindly as well. And we should evaluate it. If we're able to evaluate it and make our judgment, we go with that. If not, then the next best thing to do is look at the track record of the teacher. And if you agree with it, then apply and experiment. If not, walk away. So always keep this in mind, because some fantastic things are discussed by a lot of people and we get carried away. I don't want you to do that. So on the day of Vesak, this is a day which, the reason why it is special, the reason why so much energy is available, is because certain spiritual beings, certain energy transformers, they come into action on this particular day, which means they are able to take, if you think of transformers, the purpose of transformer is to step down the energy or step it up. So, for example, a city is being supplied electricity. It goes to the main power center where there are a bunch of transformers where the energy is brought down from, I don't know, 10,000 volts to 200 and whatever, 50 volts, which is the energy which can power our house. If we have direct access to 10,000 volts, all of our electric appliances, they will basically burn and we can't use that energy. So even if it is available to you, you can make no use of that. Similarly, spiritual energies also have different frequencies, different sources, different nature. There's a whole variety of that, right? And it is just passing through this through us, but we are not aware of it. What we need is spiritual teachers, higher beings, who have the ability to step down the energy from a very, very high level to a level where it can be of use to us, where we can access it, where we can use it, where it has an impact on us. Otherwise, it's just like radio frequency, which, if you don't have a transmitter, you have no idea what's happening. So on this particular day, certain great beings make themselves available with the sole purpose of stepping down some of these energies and making them available. And it goes down from a series of transformers, right? So the big being, which is who's talked about in on the day of Vesak, is Lord Buddha. And the theory says that Lord Buddha comes down. When you say comes down, it's not from the sky to the earth. It's basically he's working on a certain frequency and he comes down to the frequency which is accessible to us. And he plays his part as a transformer, brings down certain energies which we are able to access, passes it on to certain other beings who again step it down, pass it to some other beings who again step it down, and then pass it to other beings. I have no idea where we stand in this whole process, but we are part of it. And that is why, while we might be, I don't know, the 10th receiver or the 4th receiver, who knows, but we are part of it. So, two important things. This is happening at a certain point in time. So, if you want to access it, you have to be, what's the word? You have to be conductive, or you have to be willing on at that particular time. Hence, meditate on Vesak. Hence, meditate at that specific time. Second, it's not about us. We are not the end product here. We are also passing it on. So, by participating in the festival, we are making ourselves available to act as a step down transformers and pass these energies to others. So, the meditation we do is twin hearts meditation. We are blessing the earth, right? We are blessing everything. At the end of the meditation, if you remember, we bless the earth, which has animals, plants, minerals, everything. So you're taking the energies, and this is a time where we can afford to feel a little good about ourselves. Is we are also a transformer who's going to step this energy down to a level where it is accessible by plants, by animals, by minerals. So we have a part to play in the overall thing. And because of that, and this activity happens roughly for anything from 6 to 8 minutes around the peak full moon, right? And that is why it is important to catch that and meditate at that specific time. Okay. So I hope I haven't overcomplicated it. If it is oversimplified, I'm super happy. That was my goal. But does it make sense, or is it too wishy-washy?
Makes sense.
Okay. No. If anybody is getting uncomfortable, please let me know. Not that I'm going to stop. I just want to know. Okay. So I hope I have been able to give you an understanding of what it is and why it is important to actually keep this in mind. Okay. Now let's go back to the first thing, right? So we are talking about tremendous amount of energy of certain quality being available uniquely on this day at this time. We want to access it. We want to make sure we make use of it. We want to make sure we make it available to everybody we can by acting as an instrument, which is simply by blessing and other things, right? Now, there are two things, there are two perspectives to take, and I personally believe they are both right. You can choose. I don't think you have to, but if you have to, then go ahead. Number one is I have a bunch of projects. I have a bunch of things that need help. Uh, Maybe with my health, maybe with my relationship, with money. What else? What else can we think of? Three things? I don't know, any goals, projects that we might have, right? And now that I have some understanding of how energy works because of my introduction to pranic healing, I want to make sure that all my projects, all my goals, all my ambitions, they have the right kind of energy and the right amount of energy. Hence, I want to meditate on full moon and make sure I flood all of these things with the energies. That's one. Second is, I'm also very well aware of the fact that, and we have talked about law of karma, we have talked about law of consequences, we have talked about service and tithing, many such concepts, all covered in the level 1 class, which everybody here has taken, I believe. If anybody hasn't, please let me know, then we can discuss more. Not that I'm going to get quiet or censor things, but I'll just add more detail to it, right? So that's the second thing. Now, this is a day when we have a fantastic opportunity to be an instrument and act as a mini transformer and pass this energy on to other people. So it's a fantastic, it's probably the best day to do service. To anybody here is if you feel like, hey, I want to do a healing or I want to bless somebody, somebody's struggling, do it on Vesak. I mean, do it daily, but especially do it on Vesak. Because again, you're making certain powerful energies available to them, to their projects, to your patients, whatever. So keep that in mind. So that's the second reason, right? I think you can combine both things. So it's a day of opportunity for me to focus energies on things that I need. It's a day for me to do a lot of service and focus energy on the world. And I put myself in a win-win situation. Okay. So I'll take a pause here. That's the end of my sales pitch to get you guys to attend Vesak and do it at that time. And if you have no questions, I will talk about what to do on the day and how to actually prepare for it. Anything? No? Okay. Sorry.
So you said that it's a 5-day festival. So for like 2 days, it's for cleansing, and then doing it. So how do we clean? I'm just doing the salt bath or something like that, or doing the meditation and salt bath, something.
I did not plant the question, but this is what I was going to cover next. So let's do this, right? So what is it that we mean by preparation, right? Again, as I said, it can be a 5-day festival. It can be a 5-hour festival. Choose your time accordingly. The structure that we need to follow is before meditation, do certain activities which are related to purification and preparation. How do we do that? We do that on every level. So physical purification. Stating the obvious, before you meditate, sometime before that, please take a shower. That would be a good idea. So you're doing physical purification that way, right? The other thing that you can do about physical body is your diet. So on the day or the preceding day, eat light. Don't get carried away. Don't have a lot of deep fried, heavy food. Try to avoid or minimize alcohol, things like that, right? I mean, use your own judgment. I'm not here to preach what is right, what is wrong, but effectively have moderate diet and have it in a manner that it doesn't obstruct your energy body from receiving and channeling meditation energies. That's one. On an emotional and mental level, practice inner reflection from resolution. So we have been discussing about the technique. If there's any question, we can talk about it again. But effectively do that. So, and don't get carried away. Pick one or two things that you believe are really bothering you. For example, if you have issues with anger and resentment, you have been upset, angry about something or someone, then it is a good thing to, maybe focus on that and try and remove anger from your system. Okay, and at then before we meditate, let's do it. We'll focus on anger and resentment, but this can work for anything. If you are dealing with sadness, depression, you can target on that. If you're dealing with fear, if you're anxiety, worry, you can target that. Pick one or two things that you believe are really, really bothering you, or they have been bothering you in the last 1 year. You can go as far back as you need. But as I said, don't be in a situation, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm afraid, I'm anxious. Oh my God, what to do? Let me just keep doing that. That's not good for our self-esteem. So never do that together. That needs to be done only in a controlled environment, and we are all doing this in our homes, which is not a controlled environment. So pick one or two things, please. So you can do inner reflection from the solution. The other thing, and which we can do, there are a lot more tools available for people who are practicing Adhatic Yoga. So again, this is me plugging Adhatic Yoga. Do Adhatic Yoga in October. The ones who haven't, actually, if possible, next week we will talk about Adhatic Yoga and why it is important. But we already have one of the best tools available to us, which is meditation on twin hearts. If you remember, meditation on twin hearts we talked about in that session. I'm not sure how many of you were there, but it is one of the best way to purify ourselves, to cleanse our system. And okay, let me stop using the word purification. It is about cleansing our system, right? How do we do that? Again, we will do this today as well. Before every meditation on twin hearts, what you do is you sit down, you have done your exercises, and you just sit down, relax, and you make a resolution. And the resolution is very, very simple. After you do invocation, just pause your CD for a second and just say, I hereby will and decree that through this meditation, my system will be cleansed. If you have nothing specific to focus on, just say this. What is system? System is your bodies and your chakras. So since everybody here is a pranic healer, I can use that terminology. If we have people who are not pranic healers, I will not get into the detail, otherwise people get stuck into that. But you can say, I hereby will and decree that my aura and my chakras be cleansed. Just that's it. Right? If you want to focus on specific, then you can say, I hereby will and decree that through this meditation, my auras and chakras will be cleansed of all energies of anger, all energies of sadness, depression, whatever it is that you focus on. So now we are getting surgical about removing something. So when we do meditation on twin hearts, when we activate the heart, crown, and when we bless the earth, when the energy is flushing through our system, these energies will then be removed. It's like when we are doing it, we are anyways taking a shower, but now we're talking about cleaning something very, very specific, right? So you can do that. So I would highly recommend, and again, everybody's time schedule. I don't want anybody ever to feel guilty about not doing a practice, right? So these are suggestions. See what you can put into your schedule. If possible, do a twin heart every day. We're doing one today ourselves. Do one tomorrow. Do one on Friday morning if you can. The meditation for Vesak is a twin heart meditation itself. Okay, so if you haven't done that, and I'll talk about what that meditation is, because Gauri will send you guys a link, which is essentially a link from an Institute of Inner Studies. And they use the exact same meditation every year, and they have been doing it for more than a decade. So I'll be very surprised if somebody changes that. Okay. So that is what you can do. When I say purification, physical purification, take a shower, do some exercises, make sure your diet is healthy and not excessive. Okay. Try and avoid alcohol. Drink a lot of water, warm water, whatever. I mean, use your judgment. We all know what good diet for us looks like. More than that, we know what bad is. So just avoid the bad stuff. Okay. So that's physical. Emotional, mental level, do inner reflection. Okay, that's one. Do meditation on twin hearts and invoke for cleansing from those things. That is sufficient from a purification perspective or from a cleansing perspective. The flip side to that, which is obvious, but let's talk about it. Do not do unwholesome things. Do not generate more energies, those that need to be cleansed, right? So watch yourself, and I'll suggest, if possible, take yourself out of situations where you're going to get angry, upset. You know, don't try to be, I'm resilient. Let me go pick up a challenging discussion and let's see what I can do with it. Next 2 days are not about that, or the day specifically is not about that, right? And again, I'll repeat myself and I'll keep doing this. So forgive me if it's getting a bit much. 5-day is a suggestion. If you don't have time, then on the morning, do these things. Do inner reflection, do a short meditation yourself. From a cleansing perspective, focus on purification. Make sure your diet on the day is wholesome and not excessive. And make sure that your emotional and mental energy is not going towards negative things. That is all. Keep it very, very simple. Yeah. I hope that answers. Let's see what is next. Okay. So now let's talk about what to do on the day of the meditation, right? This is the simplest part. There is a link, log on at a specific time and just do the meditation. Okay, so and just for you guys to be aware so that you can plan accordingly, the meditation is a twin heart meditation. The peak of the full moon is 6:23. Gauri will send you time. The meditation, of course, starts a few minutes before that. Keep in mind that it is a 1 hour long meditation. So this is the longest twin hearts that you will actually do. Okay, so budget your time accordingly. And that's it. Do a set of exercises. All those guidelines which we typically use for meditation on twin hearts, they apply, right? So that's what you have to do. I have certain additional suggestions. Again, this is based on experience. Um, get yourself a bottle of water, or maybe 2 or 3 bottles of water, and keep them next to you when you're meditating. The reason is water absorbs energy. We are all aware of that. We learned that in pranic healing. That's the reason why we have the salt bowl. But we don't want to put salt into that because we do not want to disintegrate energies. We want water to capture energy. And this is a practice which is followed in Vesak for many, many, many years. It is there in a lot of esoteric books also. And there is some science behind that, which I do not understand fully or enough to talk about right now. But I like the practical implication of it. Get a bottle of water, for example. This is my simple bottle of water from last Vesak. And the idea is you fill it up and clean, something that you can drink, keep that in mind. Okay, and you just put it next to you. It will absorb the energy. You have no idea what your aura is capable of. So it will absorb a lot of energies. Then you keep it and you keep sipping from it through the year when you need it. When do you need it? When your body is not well. This is like medicine. Okay. And you don't have to believe me, but do the experiment. So get yourself a bottle of water, preferably glass, not plastic, and just leave it. Once you're done with the meditation, use the techniques that you have learned in pranic healing, which is stabilize. So light blue, sky blue color, stabilize the water. After that, scan and see what you can feel. After that, scan after a couple of days again and see what you can feel. A few days, a few weeks later, pick another bottle of water, do your meditation, keep it on your side, scan again, see what you feel. Is there a difference? I'm not going to tell you whether there will be a difference. The way I am going it, you can pretty much sense it that there will be a difference. But validate yourself, right? Because as I said, there are specific energies available on the day. We are capturing them because they are extremely good for your health. And don't hoard energies. This is not to be kept on a shelf for years and years and years. I'm guilty of that. When I picked it up, I have 3 more. So that's Vesak water from 4 years. But Josh, I'll come to you. Just give me a second. Uh, but use it and give it to your family members. Anybody in your family who you believe can use an energy boost, give it to them. Okay? Use it. But this is a practical thing that I learned. And this happened to me the first time. I'll tell you the story later. Let's take Josh last questions. Please tell me.
Sorry, I wanted to know during the meditation, should we leave the lid on or should we take it off?
Sorry, what on off?
The lid. Sorry. The lid on the bottle?
Sorry, Siri is trying to answer your question. Your choice. I don't. I never thought that much. But hey, it's energy. It's going to penetrate. So the lid here is metal. I don't think anybody's going to have leather or silk lids, which are not good for energy. That's what we have learned in healing classes, that a silk or leather is going to obstruct the flow of energy. The materials that I have in this bottle are not going to obstruct, so I don't need to open it. I'm okay. But hey, I mean, if you want to, go for it. Just don't knock it over. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Again, practical suggestion. This is, well, I'm recording it, so it's pretty much for everybody, but not written in any book, purely based on experiments. So this is what happened to me when I first did a meditation, Vesak meditation. I actually went to a theater because the organizer had put together about 500, 600 people. And we were invited to this place. This was in India, where numbers are always huge. And I had no idea what meditation on Vesak was all about. And on that day, there was just meditation. There was no lecture. There was no introduction. And I'll be honest, I went there because my wife asked me to. So we were meditating, and at the end of it, there was a guy standing outside at the door, and as we were leaving, he was handing everybody bottles of water, 1 bottle each. And now, Vesak happens almost always in the month of May, because it's the full moon of Taurus. And if anybody has been to India, May is really, really hot in India. So I was very happy and very thankful that somebody gave me a bottle of water. The first thing I did, opened it, and just bottoms up. It was gone. It was like a little bottle, half a liter. And the guy had the stunned look on his face. And I'm like, what happened? He's like, this is Vesak water. I'm like, what does that mean? I'm like, I was thirsty. So he's like, no, no, this is like water with a lot of energy, so you can use it over a period of time, blah, etc. He gave me a good explanation, but very short one. I mean, just there were still hundreds of people behind me trying to get out of the auditorium. But he's like, but you just drank it. I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do with it? He's like, you're supposed to drink it. So I was confused. I'm like, what did I do wrong? I just drank it. Like, no, you're supposed to drink it through the year because you already have that energy in your system. I had no idea what he was talking about, and I just went back, and my wife had to explain it to me on what it means. I was like, oh, okay, good. Anyways, good for me. So, two things. A, don't drink it on the same day because you already have those energies in your system. You don't need them. B, don't hoard it. Use it. This is supposed to be used. It's not for look at my shelf. It has Vesak water from 2010 or whatever. Right? Okay. So this is what you need to do on the day. As in, this is optional. Turning up for meditation and using the link, that is what you have to do. The last bit, through the day, as I said, it's a day when tremendous amount of energy downpour is happening. And while the meditation and the peak and everything is about 6-8 minutes, through the day there's a lot of energy which is coming. So all we have to do is have the mindset of absorbing these energies, right? So you just make yourself receptive and open to the fact that, okay, I'm aware of the fact that a lot of brilliant energies are available today, and I want to make sure that I'm receptive to them. That's it. How do you do that? Wholesome thoughts, wholesome words through the day. Don't get into fights, arguments, negative things. Try not going to the pub, those kind of things, right? That's about it. And I'm not downplaying pubs, but it's just the energy changes. So that's about it. I have nothing against pubs, by the way. Fantastic places. So that's it. So that's all that you need to do. Now, once you're done, and this is the meditation is at 6:30, right? Let's say you need to get on with your day on the next day, and you will not have time to do any other activities. So at the end of the day, make sure you take some time out to release the energies. How do you release the energies? Quite simply, actually, sorry, one thing before that. Once the meditation ends and you have blessed, you will do a lot of blessing on the day, right? After that, make sure you bless your projects after that. So, as I said, it's a day of opportunity, it's a day of service. So, make use of both. You're doing a lot of service by doing that meditation. Make use of the opportunity. How do you bless your projects? The best thing to do is write down a list of what is it that you want. For those of you who have done Kriya Shakti, you know the syntax on how to write it. So use that. If you haven't done Kriya Shakti, simply write it down, whatever it is that you want. The reason is when we write it down, we put a lot of emotional and mental energy into that as well. And you don't have to, figure out, oh my God, what do I need to bless? You don't have to keep thinking about it. It's right there in front of you on a piece of paper. So at the end of it, use your hands, bless that. That is what blessing the project means. And feel free. The amount of energy is abundant. So feel free to bless us whatever you want. You can bless your home, your family members, your dog, your workspace, whatever comes to your mind, go for it. But make use of it. Right? Yes, Khushbu, please go ahead.
Okay, so while blessing, should we do the twin heart before and then start blessing, or we just keep blessing the whole day or anytime whenever we are getting this and just do like this?
I prefer to be practical, so just a minute of stillness, hands out, bless.
Okay, makes sense.
Right. There's a specific, and we'll talk about great invocation, right? But this is for you, and we are doing this immediately after the meditation, right? Like within minutes of it. So at that point, you've already done the twin hearts meditation, and you are basically energetically, you are very rightly aligned to do this, right? The other thing which you can do, again, optional, is do the great invocation prayer a few times a day. A few times is 1, 2, or 3. Don't get excessive about it, right? So if you want to continue on the day after and the day after, as in day 4 and day 5, the simplest thing, and this is as per Master Hector's the way he has taught in his 5-day Vesak. So if, by the way, that program is live. So anybody wants a lot of deeper esoteric teachings on Vesak, please join that. I haven't. I think it is going on right now. So the recordings will be available. But that resource is available. I just want you guys to be aware of it. Master Ko is doing 3 sessions where he will talk about Buddhism specifically. I'm deliberately not taking any Buddhism or any religious context to that. I'm simply talking about energy availability and how to make best use of it, right? But those resources are available, so please, by all means, go for it. What else I was going to say? Yeah. Let's say all you have is the day and you have a few hours. So do the cleansing and purification as we talked about, maybe an hour before the meditation. Do the meditation with the group. That's another hour. After maybe another hour or so, do another release of energy. And to do that, you can use the great invocation. And after we end today, I will send you guys a YouTube link. We'll play it today as well. Just hit that. That is great invocation in Master Choakoksoi's voice. Done 3 times. Just go with that. It's about 3.5 minutes in total. So that's a very good prayer to release energy. So it's a very good format to do that, right? So you don't have to think too much. But nobody's stopping you. If you want to suddenly think, hey, there's a war happening in Iran, I want to bless people there. Stillness, close your eyes, focus on that part of the world, release energy. Your home, your family members are in different countries, think of them, release energy. Feel free to do that for as long as you want, for as many times as you want. There is no number. Doing it once for a minute is also fantastic. So again, no pressure on anybody, no guilt associated with that, please. Guilt is the lowest of emotions. It is lower than anger, resentment, everything. So if you feel guilty, you're messing with the good energies that you have just kind of tapped into. So please don't. I don't know why I'm saying this, but I don't know, maybe some of us are. Okay, so that's it. That's done. I've talked about writing goals. I've talked about releasing energies. Sorry, this is me looking at my slides to make sure I'm covering all the points that I wanted to. Yep, that's it. So, any questions? Does it sound too much? No. Okay.
So
Or nodding
just
of
to
heads.
confirm, the meditation starts from 6:30 till 7:30 on Friday, is it?
No, you should budget from 6 to about 7:15 on the day for the meditation.
On 1st of May, yeah?
On 1st of May, yes.
Okay. Thank
And as
you.
I said, Gauri will send you the link, which will have the exact time. We all do twin heart meditation, we understand. So, you know, the part of twin hearts where we have practice stillness, right? That is the part which you will hit at about 6:23 p.m., which is the peak of full moon. Okay. And for anybody who's curious about the whole astrology side of it, I would recommend you research the alignment of Earth, Moon, Sun, and that constellation whose full moon we are observing. You know, they will be in a certain straight line, and you will see why. And it goes around, you know, it's like the clock. You divide it into 10, 12, you have 12 zodiac signs, and every month we shift from one to another. And that's the energy which is predominantly coming down to us. And hence, there's a lot of impact. And you will realize moon has almost nothing to do with this, so, which is very, very funny and curious. But yeah, honestly, only if you're curious. It's a different science altogether. I am less curious. I have researched it, but very, very little, not enough to talk about it, and not for a discussion. But I did make a note of it to tell people if anybody wants to, then go for it. All right. If no questions, then shall we practice? All right. So we will actually do the practice, and what we are doing right now, from now till end of this session, which will be somewhere around 8:30 today, that is enough. If that's all you can do. Of course, the meditation on the day is going to be longer, so that's an additional 45 minutes. But if you have no time, then just budget this much time, and that's all you need to do. Okay. So step 1, cleansing and purification. So we are going to do the inner reflection technique. Okay. How do we do the inner reflection technique? Gauri had actually reminded me to pause the recording when I do that. Hold on. Okay. We're going to use the whiteboard technique, which you learn in psychotherapy class. So hence, please do pranic psychotherapy. If you haven't, then some other day.